What's going on, y'all? KMBLOB here, freshly made it to Infinite on the back of a Thanos Spectrum Khazar Zoo deck that I'm really excited to show you.
You get it? Do you get the cosplay? I'm the Blob.
This is the list. It is a fairly straightforward Blob combined with Thanos combined with Zoo stuff list. And when I first saw Caiera, this was the kind of thing that I wanted to do with her. This list is really built around Caiera in a very real sense because it uses every part of the buffalo. Now, Caiera, for those who are unaware, is a 3/4 that has an ongoing ability that says that your 1 and 6 cost cards cannot be destroyed. So what I mean by using every part of the buffalo is it uses every part of that ability. We rely heavily on 1 cost cards, we rely heavily on 6 cost cards, and we even have synergy with the fact that it is an ongoing ability. That's part of why I like doing videos about new cards in this format. You find a shell that new card is the perfect card for, and that allows you to see how good the card can be overall. Right now, I'm of the opinion that Caiera is probably not good in things like Lockjaw Thanos or other decks that it may or may not be reasonable in. I think that maybe one place that it could be good is the Black Knight deck, but outside of this is a deck that's really using it to its maximum potential, using every part of the buffalo, and that's how I like to explore new cards in Marvel Snap. Oh, by the way, the deck is pretty damn good. This deck has 2 real modes of play, and the first is as a Zoo deck that has no fear of Killmonger thanks to Caiera. You are able to rely on your 1-cost cards alongside Thanos' stones in order to put a lot of power on the board while gaining beneficial effects in the early game. Mind Stone particularly is quite powerful, and Time Stone remains an extremely useful piece, although it is a little more flexible in this build because sometimes you're looking to play 2 6-drops, sometimes you're looking to play a 5-on-4, and sometimes you're accelerating into Khazar himself. The way this deck works is pretty simply just stacking up multiple lanes, but you have to be ready to transition into plan number 2. And plan number 2 is just go really tall on 2 lanes, thanks to Devil Dinosaur and Blob. And the ability to swap between those 2 plans is quite important, and it will test how you actually are able to match up into other decks in the metagame. Figuring out what your opponent expects you to do, i.e., spread your power evenly with Spectrum, or go really hard on 1 lane with a Blob, is the main mind game that you have access to on turn 6. A staple of Zoo Thanos lists for as long as he has been around, Ant-Man is one of the first cards you unlock in the game, and in this deck, he is a 1/4 with significant upside. He's going to get buffs from Khazar, he's going to get buffs from Blue Marvel, and he's going to get buffs from Spectrum. This is a deck that is not afraid of Killmonger, thanks to the addition of Caiera, and so you are able to just play these guys out pretty reasonably. One thing you should consider, though, is that you are going to have to choose where your Ant-Man goes pretty early most of the time. You are not always going to be able to have the luxury of playing a 5+1 on the final turn of the game. You might end up having to play Devil Dinosaur into Blob, leaving you no room for that Ant-Man if you didn't work it into your curve earlier. This is the major skill testing part of the deck. Figuring out where to put this stuff early, keeping in mind how Ant-Man works with your Valkyrie game plan. Ghost is in here for 2 reasons. The first is to enable your Valkyrie game plan. Now, the way this works is you really just need 1 buff and Valkyrie will win you a lane. This can be anything from Ant-Man in the lane, to Soulstone in the lane, to Khazar out of the lane, to Blue Marvel out of the lane. Any of that stuff works with Valkyrie, but you need Valkyrie to be the last thing that goes off, and Ghost means that you can lose priority. The second reason she's in here is she's a 1/2 ongoing, and that is actually just legitimately good. There are so many games where you just play a Spectrum and she's like a 17 power 6-drop, which is honestly kind of on par with Blob in this deck, which is kind of crazy. This is a deck that really does like those cards being ongoing. And if you can fit other 1-drop ongoings in there, I have tried Echo. She's not ongoing. If she was, she'd be in here. Nico Minoru is a card that I think people will not be entirely expecting in Thanos right now because of the way you draw 1-cost cards off of your Mind Stone. It's not like always the most ideal situation, but she's still super broken. Turning anything into a demon is phenomenal. Drawing 2 cards is even better. This is a card that, you know, is not always going to be the best thing ever, but most of the time in your deck, since you're already giving up any potential equity off of the Mind Stone by running things like Ant-Man and Ghost, you're going to want this card in there. There's just very little reason not to. Now, I've seen other builds of this that are playing Echo, and again, if Echo had an ongoing ability, I would be into it, but since she doesn't, I value Nico just a little bit higher. When she came out, I called her the 7th Infinity Stone, and I stand by that. Thanos loses big time to Loki, and also Mobius helps stop other decks that are not your favorite things to see. So examples of those decks, Mobius is quite good into decks playing Zabu, which obviously they're Darkhawk decks. You do not enjoy seeing them too much. Mobius is quite good into decks that are relying on discounters in order to do some weird Living Tribunal combo. He's good for that. He's not a card you're always playing. Like, he's definitely a situational card, and the fact that he costs 3 does kind of suck, but the major upside this guy gives you is you actually have game into the decks that normally farm you. And that's a big, big deal. I do think he's important for this kind of deck. The interesting thing about the Loki matchup here, though, is there's this weird asymmetry because your deck is built around going very wide, and they are not exactly able to replicate that all of the time because you have the stones and they can't get them. So sometimes they'll just get like a Khazar and a Blue Marvel and it won't be that good. But you still want this guy in here. If he was not ongoing, I would say you would still run him. But he is ongoing, so that gives you even more upside with Spectrum. Marvel Snap's newest card, Caiera, is, I think, best used in a shell like this. And that's not to say that this deck is necessarily amazing. I think it's pretty good. But it's not like, oh my god, I broke it, you know? Caiera only works here, though, and that's the major thing that I think. Not necessarily only here. She goes in, like, Evo Shoutout. She goes in some of the other Thanos decks, but she's used to her best extent here. And I find it very useful when a new card comes out to try to stretch them as much as I can, to get as much as I can out of them so I can see what their ceiling looks like, and it does look pretty good in this deck. I've had people snap on Killmongers, Caiera wins the game, things like that. One thing you are going to need to think about, though, is that Ghost means that their Killmonger comes down before your Caiera. It can also mess you up in the case of Alioth, and you do need to really keep that in mind. Ghost is a hit-or-miss card because of how you're relying on your ongoing cards to keep your stuff alive. You're a deck with 9 1-drops in it. Khazar is usually pretty damn good. Now, he's like, I would describe him as a workman-like card in here, which is to say, I find it hard to believe that you could not do better. I think you probably could, but he's just consistently putting up numbers in a strong and powerful way. He's usually something in range of a 4-8, a 4-9, a 4-10, and those numbers are distributed evenly. And I know that sounds bad in the context of Miss Marvel 415. I get it. Hopefully she's getting nerfed, but you can't play that card in a deck with 9 1-drops. It's just not a thing you can do. So Khazar is the thing that you have access to. It is significantly worse than Miss Marvel. You're not going to catch me arguing about that. That's really all there is to say. Like, he's a fine card. There's just Miss Marvel at his slot, and that makes him feel worse than he is. You're looking to flood the board. Blue Marvel's amazing when you flood the board. There should be absolutely no discussion as to why this card is in this deck. Devil Dinosaur is phenomenal in basically every Thanos deck. I don't know why you would ever not run him in a Thanos deck, and he gives you the alternate plan that you have of locking up one lane with an inapproachably large idiot, and then allowing your other cards to win the other lanes, whether that be Valkyrie or Blob. Devil Dinosaur, quite big. You kind of like running something that's this big. I've made a lot of jokes about Miss Marvel 415. Devil Dinosaur is honestly only a little bit behind that. Valkyrie is a card I've really enjoyed here, mostly as a surprise removal spell. Now, the reason Valkyrie makes sense is in the context of Ghost, you have 4 cards that can make Valkyrie read, I win this lane. And whether or not you can pull that off is usually a little bit up in the air, but there are going to be situations where you don't have to save her for turn 6. You can just be like, all right, well, I'm going and I don't think they can beat me, and then I'm going to play a Blob in another lane or whatever. But when you have an Ant-Man in a lane and that lane is filled up, when you have a Soulstone in a lane, when you have a Blue Marvel in a lane, when you have a Khazar in a lane, this becomes a card that just reads win a lane. And the combo of it and Ghost is quite powerful. I do think that there is a little bit of tension with this card because you often want to play it on the final turn of the game, and it conflicts with your ability to try to play things like, you know, your 6 drops on the final turn of the game. But it is extremely strong, and I've enjoyed it a lot as a surprise gotcha. This is actually a really bad blob deck, which pains me to say as someone who is like literally cosplaying the blob right now. This is not a good blob deck. I mean, he's still your best option, but like he's very often going to be, you know, a 620 instead of like a 650, right? He's still your best option, and I think that is probably an argument that he should probably be nerfed when you're like, this is a deck that really sucks at using blob. He's just the Infinaut. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty bad. Blob is a very strong card, and you should run him in basically every Thanos deck, and this deck is actually kind of proof of concept of that, because it's the worst possible Thanos deck to run Blob in, and he is still phenomenal. Spectrum is actually of comparable size to Blob in this deck, which is a weird thing to say, but because your Blob is so often like, you know, a 620 or a 615 or whatever, Spectrum with enough targets ends up being bigger and more spread out. And the interplay between these two options is really what gives your turn 6 such a dangerous feel to them. Because you can often use Spectrum as like 11 points on one lane and then like 3 to 5 points on another lane. I don't know why I said 3 to 5. Like 4 points on another lane and then like 6 points on another lane. And it's like, it's very hard to play around. It becomes very similar to Doctor Doom, except it's asymmetric. You can play around Doctor Doom by going above 5 on each of those locations. You can't play around Spectrum because one of those lanes is going to get the 7 power body in it too. And I think that kind of asymmetry is really, really powerful to exploit. Thanos, good. I'm a Thanos fan. I think that generally speaking, if a zoo deck is going to be viable with Caiera, it's going to be one that looks like this, rather than the typical Blue Marvel Khazar 12-card zoo. And I think Thanos is what allows this deck to really have the power that it has. The stones are obviously incredible, and they're better than every other 1-drop in the game. So if you're going to invest in 1-drops, he is the best reason to do it. I literally never made him 20 power. Don't even worry about that. You are just fine to go as just this guy existing. He, as a 610, is very often not going to be played when compared to the other 6-drop options, and that's fine. He's really just here for the stones. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed not just the Blob cosplay, but the Blob deck. We're going to jump into some gameplay from my Infinite climb. As always, you know, when you climb to Infinite and you're high MMR, there's a lot of bots, but I had some amazing, amazing games against humans that I really, really enjoyed, and I hope you enjoy watching them about as much as I enjoyed playing them. Thank you so much. I've been Cam Best. I will see you in the next one. I've seen them at literally rank 99, but yes. Now, there's no way to tell from the decks whether it's a cheater bot or not. Interesting. What's a hand you snap with T1? They're rare. I don't think this deck is strong enough for me to have a ton of them. How's Snap these days? I'm enjoying it, Efro. Oh! They think they're cooking! My boy Mobius shutting it the fuck down! Holy shit. My boy Mob. Crushing them. Now, if they rogue me, I am like 50-50 to be very annoyed. Okay, so they pretty clearly have a, okay. They pretty clearly have, the guy, the Enchantress, right? Oh. Oh, they're the other one. Maybe I'm boned. I believe I'm boned. Opponent will always have prio, yes. Am I screwed? Okay, so I guess it's math time. Tribunal 20, so it's 38 plus 18. Okay, what is 38 plus 18 divided by 3? It's 56 divided by 3 is, so it's going to be 19 on every lane? I think that beats me. I don't know. Honestly, no idea. I think I could win on a tiebreaker, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to win on a tiebreaker here. See, that was what I sort of thought what was happening here. Is like, if I just went with this, this would be 19 to 19. And this would be bigger than this would be, right? Stones? Yeah, for once I drew... Oh, God, it's another no stones game. Oh. Yeah, this actually ain't bad. This got like Soulstone, Caiera, Ant-Man, Spectrum here. It ain't bad. Okay, it's a little bad now. I would describe it as bad. Yo, Muzz Aldrin, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate that. Welcome. I usually drop my Prime off to KM Best, but since you're here now, KMBLOB will do just fine, I guess. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Dude, if we didn't get Spider-Hammed here, this Sinister London goes absolutely fucking crazy. Even as is, we still get like Caiera, Ant-Man, Valkyrie here. It's pretty good. It's no longer pretty good. We needed the Spectrum now. Damn, literally just order RNG. I think we're dead. Okay, wait, winnable? Actually winnable? I don't know, Carlo. I'm guessing the answer is no. I have no idea. I have no idea if this is winnable. I just don't fucking know. Yeah, like if they have SK, right? Do we have to play the Blob instead? Let's go. Played around the SK, baby! I'm a fucking god. I'm literally a fucking god, dude. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit, what is it like being me? The more seriously a variant takes itself, the less likely I'm gonna enjoy it. Like, look at all the variants I have, dude. Tell me I'm a guy who enjoys serious shit when I'm playing this. Oh, the Freddie Mercury look?
Excuse you, I'm KMBLOB. I'm not Freddie Mercury. I'm much wider than he is. I look like Freddie Mercury ate Freddie Mercury.
Is your gameplay source in OBS the correct dimensions? I don't know. Let me check. I can't even change it to do that. Let me check properties. It's not under properties. Oh. Caiera. I look like Freddie Mercury ate Freddie Mercury. I stole that from John Cena's lines in some terrible movie. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, I'm gonna live. I have Valkyrie, I just realized. I just got beat by someone named Yo Mama Is using the title Ho Ho Ho. They lost an A, though. Surely that would be Yo Mama Is a Ho, not Yo Mama Is Ho Ho Ho. Trash. Ass cheeks. All right, well, they're about to get a bunch of unfair bullshit, I'm assuming. So I'm never lucky. I see. Am I the luckiest man on the face of the earth? Some say yes. Some say the answer is yes. Holy shit. Wait, why did they snap me?
I don't know. Is that just a blob? Holy shit, we win. We actually just win this by, like, the most insane bullshit possible. Lamau. Yeah! Parts of the buffalo here, you know what I mean? Yes, loaf beef does exactly. Apparently, loaf beef knows exactly what the fuck I mean. Yeah, just for 6 costs, she's not enough. Just for 1 cost, she's not enough. It's a whole bunch of shit. You need her for all the shit you're doing. Thanks for the fucking Doctor Doom, I guess. They get my Blob. That's a really pretty Doom. Gotta give him that one. Nice facial hair. It's the Blob's play day. Yo, Sween, thank you for the Prime 11 months. Thank you so much. Well, I'm guessing this Doctor Doom wins it here. Can't figure out why it wouldn't. Blob cosplay? Sorry, I'm not doing the full cosplay right now. Give me a second. I gotta get into the zone. Alright, now we're in the full cosplay mode. This is the Blob cosplay. There we go. I got the Bronze Age High Evo variant, but I'm an idiot. Would have won if we played the Ghost on 5 too. The reason I didn't play the Ghost on 5 was actually because of the potential for them to Alioth me and get rid of my Spectrum. So it wasn't like entirely just dumb shit, you know. I don't know if she's worth the gamble. There are not currently Twitch drops. Okay. TVA with reality there. No. We are a deck that played 27 different cards. How would you change Blob? That's a good question. I don't actually know. Oh. Good cue. Don't know. I'm watching your poker player judges how good Marvel Snap cards are, and I absolutely love this series. That is great to hear. I love hearing that people love what I do. That's a brood, right? Okay, now I'm scared. Now I'm fucking scared. On the other hand, I literally cannot die over there. Like, my 6 drops cannot get Shang-Chi'd. So I've got that going for me. Annihilus? Love it. Thank you. My dumbass was just like, yo, how did we not have Prio? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at this dumb bullshit, dude. I love drawing cards. What's he playing? What does the lady think about the stash? It's growing on her. I thought it was growing on me. Okay. All right. Thank you, fucking Captain Obvious. Oh, I didn't even mean to snap there. My bad. Why not kill the pig? Because it costs 0 and I can use it to turn on that Ant-Man if I want. That 0 cost may be relevant, you know what I mean? I mean, obviously it depends on what they get out of this lockjaw, right? Yeah. Okay, we're good. 00N7. Thank you for the 5 months. The card says ongoing in its ability somewhere, so it has to be ongoing. I wish that was how it worked. This is amazing Twitch chat. I'm glad I was here for this. Yeah, I don't like this. Fine, I'll stay in. My cubes don't really matter anyway. I'm farming for content. Oh, there's Shuri. Okay. My goal this game is to get as far down into my deck as I can and acquire the card Valkyrie. Gorgeous Sauron. You gotta love it. Did you get the Sauron bundle? I did. Oh, that's just a normal big guy. Okay. Solid. We're having a big guy off. All right. I'm just playing cards with stats, chat. That is really nice. Damn, that's sick. Jesus. Scary sights over here. Scary sights over here. I need to, like, cut out this bit, add some transparency to it or some shit. Can you remove screen? I can't see your cards. Are you the person I'm playing right now? Because that's why we put the screen up. It's turn 6, and I don't want to get sniped. They left.